Hi, greetings everyone. Well, Young Adult April now continues on with the third and final book in the Divergent series, Allegiant. A future dystopian Chicago has a society that defines its citizens by strict conformity to their social and personality-related affiliations with 5 different factions. They removes the threat of anyone exercising independent will and threatening the population's safety again by war or another human-created catastrophe. Those who fail the initiation of their particular faction are deemed factionless and are treated as a lower class and a drain on society. After the revelation about their city, Evelyn Johnson E to become Chicago's leader, which forces all factions to live equally with the factionless. Confessing their role in the insurgency, Beatrice, Tris, Pryor, Christina, and Cara are pardoned. Tris learns from Tobias for Eden about the rebel Allegiant, who work to restore the faction system. Several people are killed in a confrontation between faction members and the factionless, including Evelyn's right-hand man, Edward. Tris is invited to a meeting with the Allegiant, whose leaders, Cara and Joanna Reyes, plan to usurp Evelyn and send envoys outside the city. Tris is selected for the expedition alongside Tobias, Cara, Christina, Peter Hayes, Uriah Pedrad, and Tori Wu. Tris asks Tobias to free her brother Caleb from execution. Tori is killed by the factionless, and the others escape and meet Tobias' mentor Amar, who has long been presumed dead. They are taken to the Bureau of Genetic Welfare and its leader, David. David explains that Chicago was walled off from the outside world in an experiment sanctioned by the U.S. government to produce genetically purer Divergents for the genetically damaged population, the result of a failed attempt to correct human genes that led to the Purity War. David gives Tris her mother Natalie's journal that details her life before Chicago. She was a refugee from Milwaukee who joined the Bureau and became a volunteer to stop Erudite's killing of Divergents. Those arrests included Amar and Tori's brother George. Tobias learns he is not a true Divergent and joins GD member Nita in a rebellion against the GP staff. Tris is skeptical of the plan but jealous of Nita. The GP informant Matthew helps Nita access the weapon room and set off a bomb that causes Uriah to be brain damaged. Tris stops Nita's rampage by holding David hostage before she wounds and arrests her. Tris is appointed a council member and realizes that the Bureau supplied Erudite with the simulation serums that controlled Dallas in the invasion of abnegation. Security footage reveals that Marcus Eden, who was smashed by Evelyn, is working with Joanna to steal weapons from the factionless, which Evelyn will counter by releasing the death serum. Tris learns that David intends to release serums that can erase the population's memories to save his experiment. She formulates a plan to release the memory serum on the Bureau, while Tobias, Christina, and Peter, with Amar and George's help, return to Chicago with anti-serums for Christina and Uriah's families. Tobias, with his own plan to inject his mother with the memory serum, confronts her and asks her to avert the war in exchange for becoming his mother again. Evelyn agrees, negotiates peace with Joanna and Marcus, and exiles herself for 2 years. And Marcus vows never to leave Chicago. Tobias gives the memory serum to Peter, who intends to start anew. Caleb volunteers to expose the memory serum, a suicide mission, but Tris replaces him. She successfully repels the death serum but is shot by David. Dying, Tris sees visions of her mother embracing her before she comes to her wounds. Tobias, Christine, and Peter return to the Bureau and learn from Cara of Tris's death. In a deep depression, Tobias is about to drink the memory serum to erase his memories of Tris until Christina stops him. Uriah's brother Ezekiel, Zeke, and his mother Hannah are with Uriah as his life support is unplugged. 2.5 years later, Chicago is reopened and being rebuilt, and people coexist regardless of gene purity. Tobias, now an assistant council member, and Joanna welcomes Evelyn back from exile. To celebrate Choosing Day, he, Christina, Caleb, Zeke, Sean, and Cara, and Matthew ride a zipline from the Hancock Building, where Tobias scatters Tris's ashes and finally accepts her sacrifice. So let's take a look at the background of this novel, beginning with the development. On July 18, 2013, at the San Diego Comic-Con panel for the film Divergent, Roth revealed that Allegiant is from the viewpoints of both Tris and Four. About that, she said, "I repeatedly tried to write Allegiant in just Tris's voice, but it didn't work. Her perspective, her way of seeing things, was a little too limited for the story I needed to tell. I wanted to do 2 things with it. A, let 2 characters experience different things, and B, let them react differently to the same things, so that I, and eventually the reader, will get a better sense of the whole story, the whole picture." She further said, I've said before that I've always seen Four increasing as the series goes on as a plot mover alongside Triss, so he was the obvious choice for a second POV, though not the only one I tried. Exploring him and his choices and his assumptions about the world was incredibly interesting to me. And now finally about the title. Ross said that she did not try to choose titles ending with ENT for all 3 books. She also said, I did not go through with her ideas. It was always Allegiant, which she defined as one who is loyal or faithful to a particular cause or person. So I really think that this final book is pretty darn good and wraps everything up nicely, even though, unfortunately, Triss does end up, not being, alive anymore by near the end, so yeah, but still, it's overall pretty good, so yeah. So overall, I give Allegiant $5 fires out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in this coming Friday as we take a look at the very first Divergent. So we look at the first film in the Divergent movie series with, Divergent. So until then, see you all on Friday.